Am I the asshole here for leaving my partner and refusing to be involved in any way, shape, or form after they stopped taking the pill and pierced our condoms to have a child? My partner has been on the pill throughout our relationship, and we've been on a bit of a battle these past few weeks over having children. I categorically said that I don't want them and started using condoms for double protection. This morning, she told me that she's pregnant, and I asked how this could happen when we had been so careful. She admitted to coming off the pill and piercing through the condoms that we have stored. I've said that I don't want this and that I'm not up for marrying into a relationship based on lies. She says she's keeping it and has already told her friends, as according to her, she's done the test 8 weeks ago and was keeping it quiet in the hopes that I'd change my mind. I have no idea what to do here. Help! I'm in England and am 29. Trashmouth says, reproductive coercion has been illegal in the UK since 2015. Seek out legal counsel as soon as you can. Strangled in Moonlight says, also get a DNA test. She's crazy. She may very well have cheated and just lied about the condoms. Little Miss Hot Dice says, that, or she says she's pregnant but isn't, hoping that he lets down his guard and has unprotected sex, thus resulting in a pregnancy. Seen it happen to a few friends. I just don't understand why they don't find someone who wants a kid instead of baby trapping someone who doesn't. Plenty of men who want kids. Find those guys and procreate. This is the next one says, do not block them. Sent her a text saying that it was really hurtful that she went off the pill and broke the condoms without telling you. When she replies, you have it in writing. Go to police and save backups of the texts. Stoic says, this is stealthing and falls under conditional consent. You should read the Sexual Offences Act of 2003, Section 74. If an act falls outside of the given conditions, then the act is non-consensual and goes against the consent given. You did not give consent to her poking holes in the condoms, and she has done something illegal. I hope you can document this via text messages and file a complaint against her. Not the asshole. As much as all this advice is amazing and will help in the case that he gets a lawyer and defends himself here, everyone says go to the police, go to the police. How often do police take male sexual assault seriously? And this is the UK as well, completely different world to what most of us understand. I feel personally, this is my bias, that he would get laughed out of the police station and told that, no, you're taking the piss. You got someone pregnant, you can't prove that, yada yada yada. I know it's not true of everyone and every situation, but I know in my heart of hearts that male sexual assault does not get taken seriously, and most likely this would happen. Really, all you can do in a situation like this is lawyer up and do everything your lawyer tells you to do, not the arsehole OP. And now onto the updates. Firstly, thank you so much for all of your comments. I didn't expect this to blow up quite so much as it did. Secondly, I want to get a few things straight as people seem to be struggling with timelines. A, my partner and I were due to get married in a few short weeks. We have had many long and involved conversations during our relationship about us both wanting to remain a child-free family over the years that we have been together. Around 2 to 3 months ago, they started to appear to change their mind, which I feel insecure and unhappy about, as it's not something that I want from life, which is why I'd booked a vasectomy through the NHS. I cannot afford to go private, as money is very tight. Again, another reason I do not want children. B, she admitted to tampering with condoms and said that she'd come off the pill several weeks ago. At that point, prior to her saying that kids might be an option for her, we were still having sex, and I was under the impression that we were protected as she was on the pill. I have made no secret about how I do not want kids, and she is fully aware of my reasons behind that, which I do not have to share with strangers on the internet. C, she has shown me a test, and it confirms that she is pregnant. I have asked that she get an abortion, she has refused, and I feel the trust has gone completely from our relationship. We are now in the process of cancelling the engagement, which she isn't happy with at all, and has said that I'm ruining her life. Now, for those people telling me to go to therapy, man up, or that I'm lying, it's great that you disagree with me, but I'd never tell you to attend therapy if your worldview differed to mine. that I should be at fault after my partner has lied to me, apparently for months, and that I'm a liar. Here's a few other things for you. 1. No, I do not like kids, and I don't like entitled parents. I see it the same as disliking dogs, cats, or birds. That is my opinion. Not for everyone, and not all people have to tolerate your madness. My disinterest and lack of care towards them is one of the many reasons why it would be idiotic for me to be a father. 2. Those calling bullshit on the 21+ wedding venue thing are just wrong. It's a stipulation of the venue we chose, nothing more and nothing less. 3. The plane thing happened several years ago. The smoking area fiasco occurred over a year ago. Colleagues bringing their newborns into work is a continued pain and really just gets my goat. Just like some people don't like Susan to eat her tuna mayo baguette, it shows a complete and utter lack of etiquette and thought by parents who are coming out in their droves to tell me how wrong I am about their decision. Side note, I'm guessing those are all things that OP covered in their comments, but this video would probably be half an hour long by now if I covered all their comments. Will provide updates as and when I get through all the comments. Be kind, people. Update 2. I spoke to a lawyer earlier today who was advised that as we are not married, that I won't be automatically added to the birth certificate. Woohoo! My ex-partner can still claim that I'm the biological father, but without my consent to a DNA test, is unlikely to be able to prove it, unless it is ordered by the courts. But as I've been coerced into this, my lawyer thinks my ex-partner and family will back down as I have evidence. The lawyer advised that I don't waive my parental rights yet, as it would indicate that I still believe the fetus could be mine. So I just have to bide my time and leave the country till this all blows over. The lawyer also suggested that I go self-employed, but didn't divulge the specifics. My ex-partner has admitted to coming off birth control and piercing the condoms, which she said she'd done around 3 months ago, as she knew that I was due a vasectomy early next week and thought that I would change my mind. She has refused to have an abortion, which is her right, and I've refused any involvement. Has anyone been through this before and managed to not pay out? I think I've got a pretty good case. Update 3. My ex-partner is going to keep the baby. She wants me to be involved in her life and says that she doesn't want to lose me over something like this. A life-changing, unwanted event? Yeah, sure, ha ha ha. I have said that I will be having nothing to do with this mistake and that all responsibility now lies with her and her family. She has been blocked from using any form of mobile communication with me, and I have now been sent 3 letters by her to my parents' house. The last letter included a scan of the embryo and a note requesting that I submit a DNA sample. The scan has confirmed that she is 13 to 14 weeks pregnant, which means that she kept this hidden for a good chunk of time. She has said that she will not have an abortion, as this is what she always wanted, and that she will be taking me to court if I don't offer to help. The more time that goes on, the more she makes this an awful situation, the more I hate her. I refused the DNA test and sent her screenshots, on my lawyer's advice, of the conversation where she admitted to coming off the pill and piercing the condoms in an attempt to get pregnant. She has now gone quiet until this morning. She is pursuing legal action against me, my family, and is looking for a private arrangement of child support. The amount she wants for this bag of cells is triple the recommended amount via the government, and is one of the reasons that she's trying to get me to admit that it's my DNA in the embryo so that she can keep me. I have just lost my job, I have no savings, this is going to ruin me, my life, and the only way out that I can think of is just to run off a cliff and hope for the best. I hate this. And now, onto the latest updates. My ex's parents have now gotten involved and have lumbered me with a court-ordered DNA test or the option to lay child support and have no involvement. I have dug my heels in and said that everything she has done will constitute involvement from the police, and am trying to avoid legal battles as I have no money or means to support myself right now, let alone a child that I never ever wanted. My parents are now asking me to reconsider my position, and I want to scream every time they bring it up as they're trying to find a positive, and have said it might be the best thing to ever happen to me, and it makes me physically sick every time I think about my life being ruined under someone else's deception. I cannot sleep, I cannot focus, I am so scared. I have now had a vasectomy. Every guard says, have you discussed with your lawyer standing on the grounds of sexual assault because you never consented to unprotected sex and she admitted to tampering with birth control? There is a pretty good chance that you will need to pay child support. Really, just follow everything your lawyer advises. OP says, it's absolutely disgusting that I would need to pay and that this is the battle my lawyer and I are currently engaged in. Material replies, but you can file a police report and have her charged with sexual assault. Jakey Land says, OP keeps threatening to involve the police because she pierced the condoms. Why doesn't he just do it? Archbish says, because until she went forward with getting the court to order a DNA test, that would be an admission that the child is potentially his. The implied threat to report was intended to make her reluctant to force the child support issue, though I suspect explicitly making that threat would be an independent crime on OP's part. Now that she's forced the issue, though, I don't see a downside in reporting the crime. A downside being that because he's a male victim, he's not taken seriously. Some of our police in the UK aren't great across the board with this sort of thing, whether the victim's a man or a woman. Really just a hellish predicament to be caught in. The fact that you can be forced into a situation like this and then forced to pay child support is just indescribable to me. It's not right. It's not fair. I really don't know what the solution to this problem is, but I do hope that he and his lawyer come up with something that absolves him of having to pay child support or having any involvement in that shit mess at all. I don't know what else there is to say. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next post is by user Rebound Dork, and it's titled, Am I the asshole here that my husband is planning to go on a dinner date with a long-term ex? My husband Jack, male 36, used to date Emma, female 34, for years. They broke up because Jack didn't want to get married or have kids. Emma moved away, and about a month later, Jack met me, female 30. I don't look like the typical girls that Jack had been dating. For example, Emma is super tall, blonde with blue eyes, and has a PhD. I'm petite, 110 pounds and short. I'm a nurse, I have dark curly hair, and I'm an introvert, but apparently she was a social butterfly. Jack has a group of friends that he's known since childhood. They are like brothers to him, but from the very beginning, they didn't like me. They still call me the rebound girl. At our wedding, during his best man speech, he joked, "We all thought rebound girls were temporary, but our brother Jack made an honest woman out of her." Oh my god, at your wedding, what? I would have snatched the mic out of his hand. There would have been violence. Everyone laughed, but I didn't. They also joke that I'm just a nurse and that Jack downgraded, since he has a PhD technically postdoctoral from a doctor to just a nurse. This is why we say you need to make boundaries and enforce them. You can't be allowing this shit to slide, OP. People should be afraid of disrespecting you like this. For my own sanity, I ignore them, and Jack still hangs out with them regularly. Last weekend, there was a fundraising gala, and Emma was there. I saw her for the first time in person. Jack introduced me, and Emma said, "Yeah, I know who she is." The guys weren't kidding when they described her. Jack quickly changed the topic and asked how long she was in town. She said for a week, and then they ended up chatting all night, reminiscing about old times. I decided to talk to other people. Later at bedtime, Jack mentioned that he should go out to dinner with Emma. I assumed he meant inviting her over, so I asked what kind of food she likes so I could make it. And he said, no, it would just be the two of them. I asked, like a date? And he replied, no. Just two friends going out to dinner. Why are you so insecure? I asked him, do you miss her? Do you miss being with her? And he said, I'm not gonna lie, it felt great talking to her tonight. There's just something about her. I got really upset and told him that he can do whatever he wants, but if he goes on this dinner date, I'm done. He thinks I'm overreacting and being insecure. 8 Marshmallows says, Your husband and his friends haven't shown a lot of respect for you or your marriage. How long have you been with him and dealing with this? How long is he going to let this go on? OP replies, his family has been extremely kind and respectful to me. Not once they mentioned his ex's name or compared me. His friends, on the other hand, think it's funny to make these comments. Fun Quit says, it stands out that the people your husband chose to be in his life, friends, are this disrespectful compared to the people he has to have in his life, family. This sounds like a husband issue. 8 Marshmallows replies, I wouldn't want to be friends with someone who made a sport of hurting my partner's feelings. How long have you been together? OP says, I met Jack when he was 30 and I was 24. Violet replies, you are known by the company you keep. They make jokes because he allows them to make jokes. Why? Only he knows, but perhaps there is some truth in it. If he stood up for you, they would stop. I would not be okay with my husband going on a dinner date with his ex. You need to decide what is best for you. It's your life to live. Expanding on what I said before about setting and maintaining boundaries, that includes keeping your husband in line. Though I feel like you shouldn't even have to do this from the get-go, like the bare minimum for someone should be they respect you and their friends respect you, but this isn't happening. I know that you can clamp down on this behavior and set your husband in line, absolutely, but is that worth it in this case? If you try to extend an olive branch to him, is he actually going to do anything about it? Will he change his behavior? Will he get his friends to stop disrespecting you? Or will they just hide all of that, and this is something that will bubble up from under the surface? I just don't really see a way forward without a divorce happening here. It just sounds like this guy hates you and allows everyone to bully you and enjoys that because you just take it. Not the asshole for being upset that he plans to go on a dinner date with his long-term ex. This to me just feels like he's pushing the boundaries as far as he can until you snap. And now onto the updates. It's 4:45 a.m. and I didn't sleep last night. I thought I'd post an update. I decided to stay awake and talk to him when he came home. When he did, I told him, I could have tracked your location, shown up at the restaurant, and done so many things to get my answer, but I'd like to believe that you have enough respect for me to tell me, were you on a dinner date with your friends or Emma? He showed me pictures and said, no, it was all of us, me, my friends, and Emma. I was stupid enough to feel relieved, even feeling bad for accusing him. Then he told me to sit down because we needed to talk. He said that after seeing Emma at the gala, he couldn't stop thinking about her. He decided to take Monday and Tuesday, yesterday, off, and spent the whole day with her, while I assumed he was at work. That's separation territory for me, at a minimum. He went on about how strong their connection was, how they couldn't stop talking, and how much he enjoyed being with her. He told me that I'm a sweet woman, but he never felt that spark with me. And yet he married you. Depravity knows no bounds. He said that at dinner, Emma was laughing and having fun with everyone, and it felt like old times, compared to me being quiet and uncomfortable around his friends. He said it's best if we go our separate ways. I asked him if they had sex, and he didn't reply. I asked again and again, but he still wouldn't answer. I was so upset and asked, why did you marry me if you're not over her? And he said he thought that I was the one, but these past 2 days made him realize that there is no spark between us. He kept going on about how sweet I am, and that I will find someone too. I told him to shut up. I said, Emma knew about your cancer treatments. Where was she when you needed a friend? Why didn't she ever call you back then? He went quiet. I feel stupid for ignoring all the red flags over the years and wasting 6 years of my life with him. My next step is hiring a lawyer and finding my own place. I feel so dumb right now. I'm gonna contact my brother to help me. Thank you, everyone. Lil Man from the D says, your husband and his friends sound like complete assholes. The rebound girl at the wedding is so disrespectful and not funny. Then the ex coming back into play and him rubbing it in your face. The guys weren't kidding when they described her. The audacity of this girl. This guy is a total jackass. Sounds like they deserve each other. You have deserved someone better for a long time. Ruda replies, exactly. And him telling her that she wasn't bubbly around his friends who always treat her like she's not worthy of their blessed presence. Gross. They are all assholes, and I hope that karma will get them. Cyber Arwen says, he will regret this. He will find that she was an ex for something. It won't work, and he will come back begging for you. I'm so sorry. OP replies, he had the audacity to say that he realized he was stupid for now not marrying her years ago. She's the only one for me. She's everything that I ever wanted in a partner. We talked about the past. We planned our future. Great. Maybe take off your wedding ring before drooling over your ex. I'm Not Creepy says, time and time again, I see posts like these where someone's partner lets people they know insult their partners, and unsurprisingly, the partner who lets it happen usually turns out to be shitty. Any partner that lets other people disrespect you also has no respect for you. Yeah, just a sad state of affairs all around, and hopefully OP does find someone that respects them. They learn from all of the red flags that they chose to ignore in this situation, thinking, oh, it's not that bad. He does love me. That's just the dynamic of his friend group, You gotta suck these things up for your partner. If you really love them, you'll put up with that. You'll be quiet. No, don't have that mindset. Stand up for yourself. Have some respect for yourself. And walk out of that relationship when you are being disrespected. It truly is a sad state of affairs, and you shouldn't have to be disrespected in the first place at all. What is wrong with these people? At your wedding, calling you the rebound girl and saying that he made a good woman out. What? I would be going to jail for murder if someone said that about me at my wedding. That's all I'll say about that. I'd like to know what you guys have to say about this one down in the comments, though. Our next post is by user ThatWitch72, and it's titled, Am I the asshole here for not letting a family member enter pictures that I took into a contest under their name? Recently, there was a regional photo contest near my area. However, I wasn't a part of the community that put it on, and therefore wasn't eligible to enter. I was completely okay with this, as I like to enter other photo contests in my communities, but I digress. I have a family member in that community who asked repeatedly to enter a couple of my pictures from Grand Tetons National Park into the contest under her name so it would be eligible for prizes. I refused because I didn't know the terms of the contest and whether or not the picture became their IP when entered, so I couldn't use it in my own contest. The rest of my family seems to think that I'm selfish and that I have dozens of pictures good enough for these contests, and that this family member is just trying to be helpful by putting my photos in more contests. Plus, I don't know what it is. I just can't stand the idea of someone else's name on my work. I think I might be the asshole because I could just let her enter these pictures and take pride in them secretly if they do well, but I'm refusing. Am I the asshole? Free Range Chicken says, not the asshole. It's your work, not theirs. They're not trying to be helpful, they're trying to pass off your work as their own. If you're trying to get your photography out there, you certainly don't want to let them take your work. In the worst case scenario, which I don't know how likely, but just a thought, it somehow gets around that this happened, it could end up with your entries in other places being called into question. OP says, oh man, I hadn't thought of that. Brit says, contact the organizers of this competition and let them know of the pictures, just in case she tries to do it without your knowledge. DJ2 Supreme says, not the asshole. I see this as similar to someone wanting to copy a college essay and use it as their own. This is called plagiarism. People get in serious trouble for plagiarizing work. OP says, that's what I said, but my entire family seems to think plagiarism only applies to written work. DJ replies, no. Plagiarism can be applied to any kind of work. I've seen a lot of people post drawings claiming to be theirs, but then someone calls them out by pointing out the original artist. That's a reason why artists also sign their work, to prevent people from claiming it as their own. Yeah, absolutely not the asshole for not letting the family member enter the pictures. Your family don't know what they're talking about, so they're all just talking out of their asses, much like I do on a daily basis, but I digress. If you don't want someone using your work, in which it's something they could easily do themselves, picking up a camera and learning how to take photos, that's where this argument ends, full stop. I said no, you're not doing it. And if they decide to go behind your back and do it anyway, there is going to be hell to pay. You know, that's a serious offense because the ramifications of their actions could be dire to your career or your hobby as a photographer. Who knows what you could be blamed for down the line? Who knows if you could be disqualified or barred from other contests because they're like, oh, well, you're plagiarizing from your cousin who stole from you. I just feel like there's too many bad things that could happen to the potential good things that could happen, and why risk that? It's just a stupid, unnecessary risk to take, and you're not the asshole for trying to cut that shit out right now. And now, onto the updates. So I took the advice of a lot of the commenters and told my family I wouldn't allow anyone else to enter my pictures under their name, and then made sure that my family members didn't enter my photos without my permission by attending the contest and threatening to report them if they tried. I've also taken to not sending around any of my pictures without a watermark. I used some of the arguments given in the comments to justify my decision, and while my family still didn't agree, they let it go and stopped pressuring me to send them all of the original pictures. I know some people suggested that I tell the contest organizers, but I didn't think that it was worth going that far. Man, I probably should have though. So, more recently, one of my aunts also got into photography and sent me a lot of pictures that she took on a vacation to New Orleans. Well, my plagiarizing family member took them and entered them into a contest in the local paper, small town, under her own name, and won. The picture was featured in the paper and referenced only her as the photographer, along with a quote by her. I don't think the rest of us would have ever found out about it if my uncle didn't like to read the paper every day. Now my aunt is angry, and so is the rest of the family. I'm kinda curious if they would have reacted this strongly for me, but it doesn't really matter. At least now my family understands why I reacted as strongly as I did. And edit, for everyone saying that I should report her to the paper, I would if I thought that it would make a difference. But sadly, my family member's boyfriend is the biggest sponsor for the local paper, so I don't think they'd risk losing his funding. Lawyer Dad says, "Oh, and I'm sure the plagiarizing family member gave every bit of the prize to your aunt. Right? Right? At any rate, congratulations on still having a hometown newspaper. That's something." Dangerous Lettuce says, "I'd be petty and let the organizers know who really took the photo, anonymously or not, so they could award the prize to your aunt or whoever came second, and get them to also publicize in the paper why that family member no longer came first." Cedar Sky says, "Sounds like this family member needs to pick up a damn camera and start taking their own pictures for contests. It's not that hard, I mean, dang." Bad Kitty Vortex says, "Right? I mean, at least try. I cannot get a grasp on f-stops and exposures and all that no matter how hard I try, but you can get some amazing surprise pictures even with the spray and pray method. But that still takes effort, which is, I suppose, too much to ask for from this family member. Also, most contests like that have it right there in the rules that the piece submitted must be entirely your own." And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.